Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. YouTube, Ali here. Basically, just gonna continue in the series of the pillars of faith in Islam. And in this video, I'd like to cover Zakat, which is basically a way of purifying your wealth. The concept is really simple. God gave you, and you should give those that are less fortunate than you. I mean, it's very simple. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Okay. Um, Basically, Zakat is paid on accumulated, gold, silver, cash, jewelry, produce, livestock, good trade goods. Basically, once you have above the Nisab level, and I'll get to the Nisab level in a second. Once you have over the Nisab level for an entire lunar year, you pay the Zakat on that. Okay, so and now some scholars also say that let's say you have the Nisab level, and then for whatever a few months you go below the Nisab level, but you didn't get to zero. Some scholars say that you pay the zakat on it. And my stand on this thing is that Allah has given you and He'll give you more. So as long as you have the means to give the zakat, you should. That's just my belief in it. And again, I'm not a scholar by any means whatsoever, and I'm just sharing what I understand in Islam, and what my beliefs are. And again, if someone thinks that what I say is wrong, please let me know, because again, there are a lot more learned brothers and sisters out there that can guide us properly. I'm just sharing what I understand in the hopes that want to educate myself. Even though these videos I'm creating it with the intention of helping others, it's first thing educate myself, because we should all work on educating ourselves. Okay, so the other thing is that as far as the zakat is concerned, if as far as jewelry, let's say, if it's something that you're using every day, then you don't have to pay zakat on it. Like for instance, I have a ring. I don't need to pay zakat on this ring because I've never taken it off my hand since my wife put it on my fingers. So that's kind of how zakat is the thing. What is the nisab level? Well, the nisab level in gold, it's 2.81 troy ounces, which is equivalent to 87.48 grams. And in the case of silver, it's 19.69 troy ounces, or 612.36 grams. So basically, if you have that amount of gold or silver, that's basically what you pay the zakat on, right? So and as far as animals and produce and all these other things, basically what you do is you pay 10% of that would go for your zakat. Okay. Then the other thing is this thing that all right, so we know what we have to pay the zakat on. How much do we pay? Well, outside of the annual and all these other things, for the gold and silver and cash, this, that, the other, you pay 2.5% of whatever you have over the lunar year. That at the end of the lunar, the whatever the present amount is, 2.5% of that at the end of the lunar year that was calculated, right? Who do we give this zakat to? Well, we give the zakat to the poor Muslims, basically to help them relieve whatever distresses that they may have. Needy Muslims that are to help them basically earn a livelihood. Basically those are also people that you can give the zakat to. Even those who are they're inclined to embrace Islam, like someone that's doing the research into to Islam, and they know that Islam is the right way. They're just trying to sort out things before they make the final decision to take shahada. Those are also people that you can give the zakat to. Muslims that are in debt, so you can help them free themselves from the liabilities, and the pressuring type of things. Muslim wayfarers, basically travelers that are in foreign lands where they can't, they don't know anyone, this, that, the other. Those are also people that you can give to help them. Prisoners of war, you can use the zakat money to liberate them, to pay their ransom fee, and get them released. basically, if there's an Amir, that appointed someone in, Amir or Imam or whatever, yeah, appoint someone to collect the zakat for the community. That's also the person that you can give the zakat to. And anyone who's engaged in the propagation of Islam. So basically, like organizations like IPCI and other organizations out there that are bent on, helping the Muslim Ummah by propagating in the right manner, as the Prophet ﷺ has taught. Those are people that you can give your zakat money to. Also, it's important, again, and this is something that you'll find as the common theme in Islam. It's very important that you make intentions to give zakat. So, let's say that we decided all today to say, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we haven't been worrying about our zakat, and that's also from today, I have the Nisab level, and, at the end of the lunar year, on this day of the month, whatever accumulated wealth I'll give the zakat on. It's important that we make intention, because without intention, it's very easy to be wavering in your thoughts and not do it. Okay. Basically, it's important that you give zakat, and one is to purify your wealth, but two is also so that you can disassociate yourself from worldly possessions. When you realize it doesn't belong to you, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has only loaned you the money that you have in your pocket today. And a lot of us forget that. We think that the money that we have in our pockets are earned money. We earn this money. Allah has only loaned that to you, okay, to see what you would do with it. He gave you $100 and he gave someone else $50. And the one that has the $50 probably more charitable than the one that has $100. And it's really interesting when you see that. There was a survey that was done. It was probably in a Christian community, but I think it's the same thing in a Muslim community. That the most charitable people are the super wealthy and the super poor. Those are the most charitable people you'll find. The middle class people, like myself, we tend to be less charitable than the rest of them. And it's unfortunate when you think about that this is the kind of ummah that we have, when someone that is less fortunate than ourselves gives more money than us. We should really reflect on that. And I mean, we're talking about zakat, which is outside of charity, but it's just wanted to just throw that out there to you. And as a matter of fact, outside of zakat, there's something called Zakat al-fitr, which is basically paid in the last 3 days of Ramadan, right before the Eid al-Fitr prayer. And basically, that money is determined to be by your amirs, your imams, your sheikhs, whoever. They determine how much that amount is, and it should be paid to either someone that's collecting it in your mosques or whatever, or given to the poor directly. And the people that can collect that is people who are eligible for zakat. People who cannot receive zakat or Zakat al-fitr. Well, first of all, someone that can pay the zakat, they shouldn't receive zakat. Okay? And the descendants of the Prophet ﷺ, it doesn't matter however poor they may be. You can give them charity, but you cannot give them zakat or Zakat al-fitr. Okay? And I want to end this in a general topic of giving charity. Like I was explaining, before, it's like we've come to the point where we don't give as much charity as we should, and by Allah, that we should always try to be on the charitable end. We should never, as Muslims, it's important that we give, because what I'm noticing a lot is that a lot of our poor Muslim brothers and sisters are very much more tempted to convert into Christianity or some other faith, because those actually mainly Christianity, because the Christians are there. They're pumped so much money into these communities to win over the heart of the people, and say, hey, look at what's going on. You have Muslim brothers and sisters. They're not taking care of you. Join Christianity, and we'll take care of you. And unfortunately, our brothers and sisters are converting into Christianity, and creating the biggest sin, which is ascribing partners to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And it's very unfortunate because even though they're responsible for their deeds, I think we are more responsible because because we're not doing the job. We're not taking care of them. If we take care of them, this will never happen. And as Muslims, we need to work on this thing, And as far as charity is concerned, it's very important that we give charity. Very, very important. Outside of Zakat and Sadaqat al-fitr is very important. And why do I say that? One, Allah blesses you whenever you give charity. And I'll relate a story about my life in a second about how I personally feel that Allah Subhanahu wa Taala has blessed me that way. But outside of that, it's very important that if we do not do these things, we are causing our ummah to be even more divided and more broken down. Because once we're already sitting here, worrying about who's Shia and who's Salafi and who's Sunni and who's all these other different brand names of Muslims, rather than trying to bring ourselves together, we are dividing ourselves, and it's very unfortunate. And the only way that will happen is when we start taking care of each other. That we'll become one community. I shouldn't be sitting here wondering, is he a Sunni Muslim or is he a Shia Muslim? If he's a Shia Muslim, I'm not going to give him my charity. No, it should not be like that. We should all take care of each other. As long as the person says, I'm a Muslim, we should take care of them. And I wanted to relate a story to you about my life in the case of charity. And I think for me, it always inspires me that, whenever I reflect on it. And I have to preface this by saying I'm not telling this story for anyone to pat me on the back. I'm not telling this story for anyone to think anything good of me, because I'm the biggest sinner of them all. I have a lot of vices and all these other things that I do that I should break out of, and inshallah I will. But outside of that, I want to tell you this story just because I think it just goes to show how important charity is. Not just for the person that you gave it to, but for yourself. When I was in high school, this was back in like 96, 97 or whatever it was. I got to the point where I decided I was not going to give much charity anymore. Because one time I gave charity to this guy. I'm a student in high school. Okay, I don't have a job. The only money that I have is little money that you get for Eid or something like that. I'm a miser. I'm not going to deny it. If I need to buy something, I'll buy it. That's just me. But if I don't need to buy something, I'll save my money. That's just me. When I was a kid, that's how I was. Nowadays, I find it kind of hard to save the money, but back then, I always saved my money. My mom always talks about that. She gave me and my brother and my sister, each of us, she gave $100. To go shopping. My brother bought I think it was like a shoe, and that was the end of his $100. My sister bought some 2 dresses, and that was the end of her money. I went out there and I bought 2 pairs of shoe and some jeans and some shirts, and I still had money left over, because that's kind of miser that I am. Because I hated asking my parents for money, so whatever money I had, I made efficient use of it. When I was a kid. And any case, so this guy asked me for for money or whatever it was, and at that time, for me it was like I could not say no. And even to this day, I have a problem saying no. I would convince myself, even when I know it's a bad thing, to give the money, because I couldn't say no. And that's just how I was back then. And this is when I got to the point where I said I would not give charity anymore. And this guy, I gave him some money, the very few dollars I had in my pocket, so he can get home. I was supposed to get home or whatever, get something to eat. I gave him the money that I had, And then the very next day, I saw this guy walking around with some Timberlane boots. And if you know how back then those things were really expensive, like hundred and something dollars for a pair, you know. And I'm walking around in my Payless, you know, buy one get one free deals, you know. And I decided, okay, I'm never giving money again, you know. Um, and then when I got into college, my first semester of college, you know, I happened to be walking down in the town, you know, which was maybe about 3, 4 blocks from my school because I needed to get, I forget what I went there to get, you know, I mean, I would walk, I would walk 3 miles to save, you know, 5 cents, you know, that's how badly I was, you know, but, so I went there and I was like, you know, uh, this person, came up to me and she was like, you know, holding her jaw or whatever, like, you know, it was kind of swollen or whatever. And she was like, you know, can you give me some money to buy something to eat? And I had gotten to the point where I said, well, I was ready to say no. And she was, you know, I said, I guess she sensed that. She's like, listen, I'm very hungry. You don't have to give me money. Why don't you just buy something for me? I'm very hungry. I said, okay, you know what? I cannot refuse someone food. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed me well enough with enough to eat. I cannot refuse someone food, and that is my weakness. You know, you want me to give you, you know, some money. Food is the way that you'll get me to give it to you because it's just a weakness in my heart. I cannot deny someone food. That's just me, you know. So we went to the store and I only had like $6 in my pocket, and I remember thinking because my next time I would get paid because at that time I was actually working on high school campus. I was working as a desk attendant and a tutor, and I wasn't going to get paid for another week, and I only had like $6 in my pocket, you know. And I said, you know, I said to myself, you know, if I give this lady my money, you know, I won't be able to survive for another week, you know. But I said, you know what, somehow or the other I'll figure it out. You know, if I need to, I'll borrow some money from a friend or something, you know, and I'll take care of myself and I'll pay them back at the end of the week when I get paid. So we went to the store. I bought this lady something to eat and everything, you know, and left her there. You know, she was happy eating her fried chicken and whatever else that she ordered. I think it came up to like almost $5. So I had like $1 left in my pocket to last me a week, you know. So I get back to the school, and in my mailbox there's a, you know, an envelope. So I open my mailbox, I take out the envelope, and it was a check for over $2,000. It was 2,000. I forget exactly the exact amount, but it was over $2,000. And I sat there and I thought to myself, like, where did this money come from? I mean, I was not expecting a check for $2,000. Turned out that you know, because of, you know, me helping other students and stuff like that on the campus or whatever, I got someone filled in some scholarships for me, got some scholarships for me, and it turned out that that scholarship was more than I needed. So I got a refund check from the extra scholarships. So I totally wasn't expecting that, you know. But in my mind, it was like, subhanAllah, look at how Allah has blessed me, you know, that I was worried about how am I going to survive on $1 for the week, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me $2,000 to survive for a week. You know, and mashallah, I sit there and I always think about that, and every time I'm worried about charity, I reflect on that, and it's like, you know, I have no right to deny someone what is Allah's, you know. And I don't know if that'll inspire you or not, but that is my story, and it to this day, you know, I mean, this thing has happened, you know, since 1999, and this is like 7 years later, and I still reflect on this, you know, that this is how Allah had blessed me, you know, 7 years ago. And like, I mean, there are many other instances in my life that I can reflect and see the same thing, but this one is just, it just stands out because I was so worried about how I was going to survive for that week, you know. So with that said, you know, brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity in general, you know, we should never, you know, worry about, you know, the few dollars we have in our pocket. You know, sometimes I walk around and I look at my wallet and it's empty, and by the end of the day there's money in there somehow or the other. Whether I mean, I have a business outside of my regular job that I do in my spare time, and it's like, you know, someone will call me up, like my cousin just called me up the other day, and you know, someone was looking for some, you know, some stuff that we sold, and you know, she bought the thing, and there you go, I made some money that I was able to put in my pocket, and my wallet was dry, you know. So So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, blesses us that way, that, like even, you guys know I have the FTP site up. Well, the reason it took me so long to put it up is because I needed a new hard drive, and subhanAllah, when, I squeezed, I was able to put the hard drive together. Then all of a sudden the money came. I was like, okay, well, the money to pay the credit card bill, So alhamdulillah for that, I mean, Allah, when you don't make a problem for Allah, Allah does not make a problem for you. So inshallah, we should all try our best to be more charitable. Inshallah, we should all try our best to help our brothers and sisters. And most importantly, we should not forget the fact that, once we have the Nisab level for Zakat, that we should always pay our Zakat. And once we have the amount for the Zakat al-fitr, we should not ignore those things, because they are important. And outside of those yearly things, daily, weekly, monthly, we should all work on taking care of our brothers and sisters, not just in Islam but in humanity. Because a lot of us, we sit there and say, oh, well, why would I give this kuffar my money? Why would I give this kafir my money? Well, if you didn't give the kafir the money, if you didn't give this kuffar your money, you've denied them the opportunity to meet up with a Muslim. You've denied them the opportunity to see that Islam teaches charity. You've denied them the opportunity that it might be that that person is like starving to death, and because you didn't give them that one glass of water, they died and didn't get the chance to hear about Islam. So be very careful about this thing, brothers and sisters. And I don't speak to you, I speak to myself first. That we should all remember that. So with that, I end this video. Inshallah, I will create the other 2 videos. And with that, I end this one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.